There is an animal looking at you right now that has no idea what you are. Not what you want, not whether you are a threat, not whether you have food. It has no category for you at all. You are something it has never encountered in its entire evolutionary history, and its brain is doing something remarkable just trying to process your existence. But there is another animal, one you have probably stood next to, fed, or looked in the eye, that does something far stranger. It recognizes you, not just as a large warm object that delivers food. It recognizes you as a specific kind of thing, a category of being with intentions, moods, and an interior life that can be read, predicted, and responded to. The question is not whether animals are afraid of you, or attracted to you, or habituated to your presence. The question is whether any animal on this planet actually knows what you are. Whether any non-human mind has built a mental model of the human as a distinct category of being. The answer is yes, and the animals that have done it will surprise you. Recognizing a human is not the same as recognizing a predator. Recognizing a predator is hardwired. It happens automatically. A zebra does not need to learn that lions are dangerous. It is born with that response embedded at a neurological level. Recognizing a human is something different. Humans are not a natural category in the evolutionary history of most species. We did not exist in the environments where most animal nervous systems were shaped. We are recent. We are strange. We smell wrong, we move wrong, we make unpredictable sounds, and we behave in ways that do not map onto any prior predator or prey template. For an animal to know what a human is, to build a genuine cognitive category called human, it has to do something that goes far beyond instinct. It has to observe, generalize, update its model based on new information, and apply that model predictively across new individuals it has never encountered before. That is learning in the fullest cognitive sense. And the animals that do it are not the ones you would necessarily expect. Start with the most studied case: crows. In 2011, researcher John Marzluff at the University of Washington published a study that changed how scientists thought about animal cognition entirely. His team had been conducting research involving capturing and tagging crows. The researchers wore specific masks during the captures. When they returned to the same locations weeks and months later, wearing those same masks, the crows responded with immediate alarm calls, dive bombing, and sustained mobbing behavior. When they wore different masks, nothing happened. The crows had not just remembered a face. They had built a category. A specific masked human equals threat. A different masked human equals irrelevant. They were not responding to humans in general. They were responding to a specific subset of humans defined by behavior, the ones who had done something dangerous, while filtering out every other human around them. But here is what made Marzluff's study genuinely landmark. The response spread. Crows that had never been captured, crows that had never personally encountered the masked researchers, began responding to the threatening mask with alarm calls. Young crows that hatched after the original capture event were responding to a face they had never seen, based entirely on social transmission from older birds. The crows were not just recognizing individual humans, they were culturally transmitting a human classification system across generations. Now move further into territory that challenges everything most people assume about the animal mind. Researcher Karen McComb at the University of Sussex studied African elephants and their responses to human voices. What she found was extraordinary. When elephant herds were played recordings of human voices, their response varied dramatically based on specific characteristics of the voice. Voices of men from the Maasai community, who have a history of conflict with elephants, produced immediate defensive clustering and heightened vigilance. Voices of men from the Kamba community, who are farmers with minimal conflict history, produced a significantly reduced response. The elephants were not responding to human voices as a single category. They were subcategorizing. They had built a model of humans detailed enough to distinguish between two different human groups based on vocal characteristics alone, and they were applying that model predictively. This is not conditioning. Researcher Slobodikoff spent years studying prairie dogs and found something that initially seemed impossible. Prairie dog alarm calls, the warning vocalizations they produce when a predator or threat approaches, contain specific encoded information about the characteristics of the approaching animal: size, shape, color, speed of movement, and they have a specific call for humans, not a generalized large predator call, not a modified version of their hawk alarm or their coyote alarm, a distinct call that encodes human-specific characteristics: upright posture, two-legged movement, specific size parameters, that prairie dogs produce only when a human approaches. This means prairie dogs have a cognitive category called human. They have named you, not in language as you understand it, but in the only communication system they have. But here is where the picture becomes significantly more complicated. Knowing what a human is and understanding what a human is are not the same thing. The crow knows you are a specific kind of threat with a face that can be remembered. The elephant knows you belong to a subcategory of humans that has a particular relationship with its herd. The prairie dog knows you are a two-legged upright animal with a specific set of characteristics worth encoding in an alarm call. None of them know what you know about yourself. None of them model your intentions in the way that would require understanding that you have intentions at all. Researcher Christopher Bird and his colleagues have studied whether animals demonstrate what cognitive scientists call theory of mind toward humans specifically, the ability to model a human's mental state and predict behavior based on that model rather than based on past experience. The evidence is partial. Chimps demonstrate some capacity to track human attention states. Dogs show measurable responses to human emotional expression. Ravens have been documented adjusting their behavior based on whether a human can see them or not. But the full cognitive model, understanding that you are a being with beliefs, intentions, knowledge, and an interior life, is something no non-human animal has been demonstrated to hold with certainty. They know you exist. They know you are a specific kind of thing. They have built categories for you and named you in their own systems. What they do not know is what it is like to be you. Here is what makes this more significant than it first appears. The animals that have built the most sophisticated human recognition systems are not necessarily the ones with the largest brains or the closest evolutionary relationship to us. Crows have no neocortex. Prairie dogs are rodents. Elephants share no recent common ancestor with primates. What they share is something else entirely. They are all highly social species that live in complex group structures where individual recognition, social memory, and the ability to classify others based on behavioral history are survival critical skills. The cognitive architecture that allows a crow to remember a specific human face, transmit that information culturally, and apply it to new individuals it has never met. That architecture was not built for humans, it was built for crow society. It was built to track other crows, remember which individuals are allies and which are threats, and update that model continuously across a lifetime. Humans simply got included in the same system. Not because we are special from the crow's perspective, but because we behaved in ways that made classification necessary. You entered the crow's social world whether you intended to or not, and it filed you.